All right, let me let you guys introduce yourselves.
Oh yeah, we're Lombolo. I'm Valerius from Lombolo.
I'm Lennart, the flutist and singer.
I am Johan, bassist, sings, does harsh vocals, and we have Leo who forgot, but is the guitarist and harsh vocalist.
Yeah, and I play some mandolin as well.
So how many instruments would you say goes into? Well, we'll say you have an album and an EP out. So
yeah.
How many instruments do you think you've played on that album and EP?
Well, I think we have Lennart plays the flute, and I have the mandolin and the cantele.
We have some acoustic guitar.
Acoustic guitar, yeah.
Yeah, and then the regular bass, electric guitar. And we use programmed drums.
Yeah.
Because we don't know anyone who can drum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so I actually just found out a interesting fact about you guys this morning, reading about since you released the newest video for forgive my pronunciations, the many problems with Beards and
Broadswords. It's only funnier.
Okay.
It makes it better, don't worry.
Yeah.
Ofärd, did I say that right?
Ofärd.
Ofärd.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, umlauts in Swedish just kind of throw me for a loop.
Yeah.
But reading the description, I've seen that you guys formed a band over a D&D session.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
We had a session that our friend DM'd, and during it we were just talking about wouldn't it be fun to play some folk metal during like the graduation. It was some sort of joke about growling at the graduation, which then turned into, wait a minute, Leo, I can play guitar.
Yeah.
You can play flute. And at the time we also had a person that could play saxophone and violin, but it didn't pan out between them. And then I could play bass, and that's at the time we were like, okay, we're gonna play Graduation.
Yeah.
And then we actually during the sessions saw that it worked and formed an actual band that was called Witch King at the time, but then changed to Lombolo later.
Yeah.
Oh, what does Lombolo mean?
Oh, it means I always said it means like swamp, and it's in Meänkieli, which is like a Finnish dialect in the northernmost part of Sweden, where my dad is from. And I asked my grandma because she speaks it. I'm like, what does Lombolo mean? Oh yeah, it means swamp. Apparently, it does not mean swamp, which I found out like this summer. But it, kind of swamp, but not really. It's some kind of lake with a river going through it.
The name of the band really didn't matter. We just wanted a name that had a lot of O's.
Yeah.
And,
well, not really O's. Just very easy to pronounce.
Yeah.
Very catchy. And
it rolls off the tongue, and it kind of gives off that we try to have a fun aesthetic, and it doesn't sound very serious, even if you don't know the meaning. The way it rolls off the tongue, it's kind of tongue in cheek.
It just kind of clicked when,
So, for someone unfamiliar with Lombolo, what do you guys sound like?
Bad. It's folk metal with a hint of our own personality mixing. We like to experiment with songs that are, this is a fun idea, and then we turn that into a song. Well, it sounds very traditional, kind of mellow death thrash with folk elements on top.
I would say if I'm going to come out here and say something awkward, but I don't listen to a lot of folk metal. But I would say from what I've heard, there's not a lot of folk metal that's we lean more on the classical folky side than on the metal side.
I'd say that.
And we really tried to, I listen to a lot of just traditional folk music, and I try to bring a lot of that in, and a lot of folk metal bands do, but the melodies are always the main part, and then we try to add some brutal riffs and vocals to it.
I controversially kind of have to add that there's a bit of, I don't know how this happens since no one's really into that genre. It has a bit of a pop punk flair to it. We have a lot of like punk riffs in a lot of songs and focus a lot on the catchy chorus. So it kind of seems a little bit.
You're right. That is controversial.
How could you say that?
I'm just thinking of a lot of the riffs without the melodies on top. It sounds a lot like punk riffs.
Yeah, yeah. I get what you're saying.
Lombolo goes pop punk. You heard it first.
Yeah, we have been exposed.
Cancelled.
Oh no.
Please remove it now.
We're going to do a lot of editing.
Yeah.
So, what are your influences, like musically?
Oh, I mean, we kind of bonded over like playing like Ailstorm songs. Yeah, Fintroll, Korpiklani.
And then just listen to a lot of Elevite.
Yeah, you were really into Elevite.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
And overall, we also bonded just over Lombolo's like metal and D&D. It's all been like a nerd thing to us.
Yeah.
And so we bond a lot over that. And what's nerdier than folk metal, really?
Nothing, actually. But it's also really fun because I have a lot of like thrash influences that I'm not sure how much of it I put into the music, but I come from like a thrash background, a melodeath, and the other guys all like you like prog and choir stuff, musicals.
Yeah, I take a lot of my inspiration from like more. I take a lot of inspiration from the more classical folk. And like the Swedish folk songs that have been going around and that I have been singing in choir at school and things like that. So.
Yes.
And I'm just all over the place.
Yeah.
I started with black metal, grindcore, and then transitioned into that plus punk and prog and avant-garde and harsh noise.
Yeah.
And I ended up all over the place, really.
It's kind of interesting. We talked about this yesterday that like I have a lot of like I'm very stubborn in like the way I want to write music, and I kind of a lot of the times I'm in my like comfort zone.
Yes.
Then Johan is really like, oh, can we make this crazy thing like here and there, because he has a lot of like very progressive avant-garde influences, and we kind of meet in the middle, and it makes
the songs very different, and there's a lot of like just sample things, also like Skuggan from Prärien.
Yeah.
That like a lot of things just morphed into each other because we wrote a song a specific way and talked about how to make one.
Yeah.
I even feel those influences in other musical projects. I feel like they've gotten catchier because I've worked with you. It's kind of a fun dynamic.
Yeah.
They just send me things and I play them, and then
That's an important aspect.
And then I talk a lot during the recording sessions.
There was an entire cover. There was just Anton recording some stuff during the sessions that Leo cut together into a cover. Like Anton adds so much flair to the band, and I don't want him underselling himself.
You say that, I say I just play what you send me, and then I also talk during the recording session.
But it's kind of fun because, like, okay, we send you lots of stuff and you record it, but you always like put like something a little extra into it. Like I feel like, okay, we have some lyrics, and you're like, oh, can we change like that word there, or it makes a better flow, and can I change this note or something?
I will take that. I do that.
And the passion is always there. For context, there's theater background.
There's not theater background.
Well.
I would have had theater background in another life.
It's very theatric what the musical avenues that Anton's taken earlier, and it influences a lot of.
Did you say like Broadway even?
It's more like it's less that I actually have done theater or studied theater, and it's more like whenever I have performed in the past, I usually make a big show out of it, and I do costume and things like that.
But you also listen to like.
Oh yeah, I do listen to.
You send me like listen to this musical, and I'm like, okay.
There's a lot of like good musicals that you've turned me on to.
So that kind of leads into that influence then, the musical and outside metal influences. I guess a follow-up question would be, like, what else has influenced you, like, non-musically? Like, I know D&D has influenced you, you've mentioned, but yeah, your songs have been influenced by, like, paganism and just basically just a lot of other, like, some fun stuff, too.
Yeah.
So, it kind of fluctuates between fun and serious, I've noticed, from just a listener standpoint.
Yeah.
What's... I don't even want to say typical, because that's probably a poor choice of words, but what would the optimum Lombolo, like, writing a song, would that be like? What was the process?
Well, to answer the influence questions, there's a lot of books that's influenced. Ofärd influenced by a book.
Yeah.
We have a song about vampires, which was just me reading a lot of Edgar Allan Poe at the time.
Yeah. And like a lot of the lyrics are just me nerding out over history. Yeah, so like a lot of history, like a lot of folk metal bands write about historical stuff.
Yes.
And I try to, like, when I write something about something, I try to more so now than like in the early days of Lombolo, but trying to find historical events that not a lot of people have done songs about.
Yeah, and when you guys sent me the description for Irminsul, it was please describe that, because I can't really call up that description. I know you guys.
That was kind of it's about the forceful conversion of the pagan Saxons to Christianity, like in the 8th century, and it was just in the beginning trying to like write a song about this, because I've read about it and I thought Irminsul was like that's just a cool. It's a cool word. It's a cool concept. They were like worshipping this pillar that was kind of
nice imagery.
Yeah, and then I realized like. Because it's a lot about, there's a lot of nuance to history, but basically it felt like it became morphed into an anti-imperialist song. Yeah, and because like I mentioned, my dad's from like the northern parts of Sweden, like where they spoke Finnish, and there was a lot of like imperialist policies from Sweden to like make them Swedes. I'm doing air quotes now for reference.
Yes.
So, like emotionally, that's kind of the vibe I try to convey, to like to be forced to lose your culture, basically.
And I've seen you guys film a video for that too.
Yeah.
That was. As contrast to your latest video for this is that seemed like a more serious take to it, like a serious subject.
Yeah.
Now, how's filming that video? The video?
I almost froze to death twice.
Oh no!
You might see in the video that I am in the snow wearing shorts.
Oh no!
And
poor planning.
And he also got lost on the way home.
Yeah, I also got lost on the way home on another separate occasion.
On the channel about that. But that was a very interesting time, because you were in Skövde. You and me were close to each other, but it was not quarantine, but
I was kind of during quarantine, like in February or something, and you were having lots of stuff in.
Yeah, I was on my like very last term, semester of my nurse education, and that was just all day studying, and when it wasn't, I was at the hospital. Something.
The recording period took time over a very long period of time. Because we have both winter and then it becomes spring and the snow melts.
Just for that individual song you're
filming that one.
For Irminsul it took a while.
Exactly.
Definitely.
I mean, the brunt of it, I think that the brunt of it was done in like 2 weeks, but there was a lot of the footage is from both February and April. I don't remember when it was released.
Yeah, it was just kind of like on the brink between like winter and spring, and we went out to we all went out to film individually. We never met for filming it, which was kind of
that's almost a theme with some of our later music. Like Första Kvarn is the same way.
Yeah,
you were in Gotland.
No, Öland.
Öland. And you were in quarantine. And me and a friend went out to a windmill.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun in that way, though. I love the aspect of me sitting trying to edit things together, you not knowing at all what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. And that's kind of what happened with Irminsul as well, except,
Ofärd a little bit as well, but usually that's how the video go. I make a draft, then send. And then
I must say, you guys are... forgive me for assuming like a very DIY, do it yourself.
Oh yeah.
So for the results to be that. It looked professional with the Irminsul video. It looked like it could be in regular rotation on any music program.
Yeah, thanks.
So
I appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely appreciate the effort you guys put in for that one. Now, just for reference, we're doing this interview and we're going to air it. If you're hearing it on the show, we're airing it now, obviously. But conducting the interview, I've conducted it maybe a week or two before. So just a disclaimer: we're going to play some of your tunes in between, like talking here.
Okay.
So if there's one Lombolo song, I know we just talked about Irminsul, so we might as well just play Irminsul next.
Yeah.
And then go into another part of the interview. But if you have to pick like a Lombolo song that kind of defines the band, what song would it be?
I think we've been discussing this a lot.
We've talked about this, and we always have almost like the same two. But now, when this has been before the new ones have released.
Yeah, but now Ofärd is kind of defining.
Ofärd's defining, as well as because all the actors in the music video are all our friends. They had a budget of nothing. Everyone just happened to have LARPing costumes at home.
Somehow.
But beforehand, it was always Först till kvarn. It was just like a very traditional, this is how we wrote a song. I came up with a dumb concept of the title. It's sort of a saying in Sweden, first to the mill.
It's first come, first served.
Yeah,
oh, yes.
it was translated to. And then I wrote lyrics to it, and Leo was like, oh, this has a nice melody. And then he wrote the music. But otherwise, Skogen viskar. Our vampire song was kind of fun, but I don't think it represents the band. I think Ofärd is a very good
Ofärd is very representative because we kind of it was kind of a conscious effort to make like a longer song and like include everything that like makes Lombolo. Like we have lots of good clean vocals, we have like harsh growls from me and screams from Johan.
Yeah, we also had a sort of breakdown build-up thing where I was growling, and the acoustic part.
Yeah, and it was the first time also like on a new song that I played the mandolin.
Yeah.
So it felt more true to have more than one folk instrument on a song also.
I just feel it's so full circle as well. We started like Lombolo because of a D&D session, and then we ended up making a D&D music video as well with the friends that we brought. Most of them were in our D&D group. It just felt so good seeing all of them from quarantine. Everyone been studying in different parts of Sweden. It just didn't just feel like Lombolo. It felt like friendship.
So now coming full circle, this is over.
We're announcing our break.
Oh no!
We're making a new band. This one
it's
is about
backwards.
This is a synthwave.
All our album covers the photo negative.
Is it going to be like Drone Doom?
No, it's guard shoegaze.
It's going to be very corporate, reflecting all of the.
The pop punk changes.
Right.
The first song, actually, I remember talking to you guys when you released the first album to play some of your tunes, and definitely was impressed. The one thing that caught me by surprise is the cover of "Drink from Hailstorm."
That was actually, to be honest, probably the first Lombolo song that was started to be written, because in the end of high school, me and Anton wrote most of that, like half
we wrote
on the train.
We translated most of it on a train ride to.
It was a theater with a school field trip.
Oh that's what it is.
Because we had the same Swedish lesson. We were in the same class, and we translated the other a little more on the way back?
Yeah, I think like most of the first verse was the entire first verse was translated on the train there.
Oh, no, yeah.
And then
The second one on the way back.
yeah. Well, no, it was not. It was not, because the second verse references all of our previous songs on the album, so that's not true.
No,
Yeah, because
it was the chorus.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
and it was kind of cool because that was before we even had like the idea to make a band out of
Yeah, it was
wasn't
before we
Yeah.
decided to keep going. We were just
Yeah.
planning to do the cover at that point.
Yeah, so but we were like the show that we teamed up to play on your high school graduation was Keelhold by Ailstorm, and I remember one like the first folk metal song I heard was Shipwreck by Ailstorm.
It was also the first one I heard because you sent it to me.
Yeah, and we played that on like in elementary school.
Oh yeah,
also.
We did that.
Yeah.
There is.
So there was a lot of Ailstorm in the beginning, and it kind of felt right to like when we were making like in the process of finishing the album, and we realized, we have these lyrics, and it's a good song. We could make it like a little bit more Lombolo-esque, and rewrite the second verse to be about ourselves.
As well, for reference, skål doesn't mean drink; it means cheers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like when I was listening to it, it's like, hey, this is Hailstorm.
Yeah, but we put that in like the break because me and Johan
is it a Hailstorm song?
Yeah,
we say it in Swedish.
Nice.
Yeah, Johan was like, no. One of us says like, "Oh, isn't this an Hailstorm song?" And the other replies like, "Yeah, I think so." And then we open a beer can.
Which canonically it wasn't a beer; it was Coke. That was very intense. That was the hardest thing to record because we only had one.
Yeah,
we had one shot.
One shot. Yeah.
So following up, the next song you guys put out after the first album was the Farging Garden. Which I have two questions that's going to follow into here. The first one is about a trend I've noticed. It's noticed you guys, a lot of younger bands are doing this too, but I guess it's a testament to the digital age that bands are releasing songs instead of albums now. You release a song here, a song there, a song there. Next thing you know, you have like pretty much half the album written. Yeah, and then they kind of felt like that with. Please, I'm going to mispronounce it.
Beards and Broadswords.
No,
the Vandringsmannen, the first album. Or?
Yeah, the first album felt like an album. The second album felt the second EP. Ofärd. I will get that by the end of the night. But Ofärd was 4 singles, and then you put out the other track, and connected it to 4, which. It was honestly, it felt like your best songwriting. The Vargen Guard, it was the start of that. Like, how was the writing for that? Like, how did you come up with the concept to do a song about the Varangian Guard?
So this actually ties back to before, because this had been an idea that we had for a while. That we wanted to put on the Vandringsmannen album. Yes. And we wrote a song, or Leo wrote a song, and we decided to record it, and then we realized that, then as we tried to write it, it became more about how the how the Vikings met the Muslims. And that's where Skäggets Allians was made.
It's a similar concept, but one was made way.
No, really, like the
lyrics were. Into
the demo for Skäggets Allians, when we just had the music, I had a few riffs, And I was like, yeah, this is going to be about the Varangian Guard. And then it kind of felt out of place, and we were talking, and we came up like
it's
Johan
usually
had this.
just me ruining everyone's serious plans. They're like, let's make a serious song, and I was like, what if Muslims and the Vikings became friends because they didn't have much in common, but they did have beards. That's what this song is about. Just
but it really is like a nice song about like you can be very like suspicious towards other like people, but then you realize we have so much more in common like than we don't, and just celebrating joining together instead of like
against Christians.
So yeah, we need to have some form of standards. So we kind of shelved that Varangian Guard idea, and then after the first album, I was like trying to just get out a lot of different song ideas, and I just wrote a lot of like different riffs and lyrics, and we like. I think we had a lot of different songs like on the go, like that we were about to make.
Yeah, we had
like,
a lot of
in
song
demos.
ideas.
And
It kind of felt overwhelming for a little bit.
Yeah, and then Varangian Guard just it came like really quickly, and we just recorded it quickly, and then like, okay, we have this song done now, so let's just release it.
I remember when we were doing the first album, it was, oh, do we release this song now? Okay, soon we'll be done. We were kind of surprised. Well, it's done.
Yeah.
Shouldn't we release this?
Yeah. So yeah, but I've always been, as I said before, I've always been interested in history and the Viking Age and like the Varangian Guard is just like super interesting, historical thing, and I know I have a lot of the times I have an idea for a song about a historical event, and then I'm like, oh, Turisas did it. But with the Varangian Guard, that we like, let's just we don't need to care about whether Turisas did it first. We can do our own version.
We can do it better, or at least funnier.
Yeah.
So the next song you released actually after that was Skogen Prarian.
Oh yeah.
So what Old West influence? I definitely want to hear this story.
I also want to hear this story.
Well, once again, it comes back to me. Just I love like old Western movies, and like the spaghetti Western movies with Clint Eastwood and like Sergio Leone. Those old movies, and I think
you brought it up to me once.
I brought it up,
doubting, and it was like, this would seem like a good idea, but I'm not sure, and I just told you to do it. And then
but it was also because we realized like the main riff for Skogen from Prärien was actually I wrote it for Irminsul first.
Oh yeah.
And actually the first demo to Irminsul, like half of it ended up as Skogen from Prärien, and the other half as Irminsul.
Yeah.
And like because
it sounded a bit too like it didn't sound. It's supposed to sound more black metal, more like sad, Irminsul, and it didn't really fit.
Yeah, with the main riff, and but I didn't like have the idea for. Well, I listened to the main riff because we tried to make an acoustic intro with the riff, and then we listened to it, and I think I showed it to the other guys, and we realized this sounds Western. Like when you play it with a clean guitar, and like we had like the galloping
drums.
So and at that point, I had brought up the Western song, like let's write a Western song, and I said to the other guys, like, we have this riff, it sounds really Western. can we make a Western song? And we're like,
of course we could do it.
Yeah. So and we got to really nerd out with
finding horse samples. But like I wasn't really sure about that song, just like sound wise.
Yeah.
And then I like when you added the samples, I was like, this works so well.
The song and horse in the beginning, but that was. I think we had written like the whole song, like musically, and I was watching like the Dollars trilogy with Clint Eastwood, like all the way through, and with my family, and then my sister was like, "Can I write the lyrics?" She wrote the lyrics for the song.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, and they were like really good. I was like, man, why couldn't I write this? So yeah.
Yeah,
I like all the promo shoots you did for that too.
Yeah,
the Western. How that had to be fun. Or was that Photoshop?
It was literally during winter.
Yeah.
And Anton is such a great graphic designer.
Graphic design is my passion.
Oh, nice. That's what
So I essentially just. You sent me a poster, and Leo sent me a poster, and I went. Yeah, I could probably make something out of this, and then
a poster from like a Western movie poster.
The good, the bad,
the ugly.
So then I went, I could probably make something of that, and you can see from all of the different videos and promo materials how I grow during the development, because it starts with the release where it's us on a very flat, modern-looking background, and then it just moves on to the posters that I made, and then
the lyric video.
Yeah, the lyric video.
Amazing.
Well, it ended me, but
and your computer.
And my computer, but it was extremely fun.
And it turned out so well. I'm every time I watch it, I'm like so surprised by how
every time the sun turns into the bullet.
But it was really fun also getting the photo shoot, because it was during winter, and I think you were like
I was here for it was for Christmas.
Yeah, and we had like it was like the last day before you had to go home.
Yeah.
And we checked with one of our other friends who plays the monk in the music video.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and he's really into photography, so we're like, could you help us do some band photo shoots? And we went out like into the snow, like 1 decimeter thick snow, like it's also snowing
at a school.
We like looked around at home and found the stuff we could use to dress up like the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
And it was definitely forgive the pun, because it felt like it branded your bands. Forgive that pun though, because branding horse.
Yeah.
But that was. I honestly, I felt like that was like a turning point for you guys.
Yeah.
It's just, it felt like both a serious and a tongue-in-cheek song at the same time.
Yeah.
The way you guys described like the.
I think what really like set it apart at that time was like you had like dabbled in graphic design, but as you said, you grew from this.
Yeah.
And before we used a little bit of our talents within media production, so to speak. Leo produces all our songs, I edit most of the videos, and
I make
does
most of the
graphic
graphics.
design. And then at that point I felt like that's where most of it met.
Yeah.
And then even more now with Ofärd.
Like it's amazing actually that we're 3 guys in a band, and everyone has different like media talents. All of them work together. Like you don't need anything else for to make
and there's
stuff
one
for
friend
band.
that's a photographer.
Yeah, that's also really.
The drummer needs to be a photographer.
Yeah, but I remember also like you talked about the branding, because we were kind of like thinking about what direction or like brands, like what kind of brand do we want to be, and when we had like the idea to make a Western song, we kind of realized that we don't need to like stick to this one brand and like do album after album of like same stuff. We can do whatever we want.
We didn't really frame it as much, and the line seemed a bit more blurry at that point. So we could more or less, as long as it feels Lombolo, like it's Lombolo. It doesn't have to be about Vikings or medieval history. It can, and we. I'm not going to spoil anything, but some of the songs we're writing moves even further and some even further back. As long as it feels Lombolo, that's what matters.
We've got some crazy stuff coming up.
Can I give a hint?
Let's just say the folk metal world ain't ready for it.
But it's the one song where I probably got the most influence so far because the verse and the chorus. I've written.
When I finally manage to finish a lyric, it's going to be interesting because I'm going to make a slight hint at what's going to come from me whenever I can write a lyric and finish it. And it is I have realized, well, it's not so much a realization because it's obvious that most folk metal bands don't make songs about modern events, things that happened in like the 19th century, because you can't really write a folk song about the Cold War or something, or at least not a very traditional Swedish folky song.
Lombolo 2030, get ready for a Cold War song.
I did realize that if I rewrite things to like if I make it a metaphor if I rewrite things like if I rewrite it so it's a story about like a beast and someone battling that beast, but the beast is actually something else that might be revealed in a later song.
Yes.
The beast is actually Stalin.
Then I can make some kind of fantasy-ish story, which is historical in a way, and also it's
modern events.
Still. Like a metaphor or like an allusion to a. That's.
I think it was inevitable, the whole branding and branching out a little bit. We just, like we talked about earlier in the interview, we're all such different individuals with such different tastes, and just things we nerd out on. Leo nerds out a lot more about history than we do. I nerd out about gothic stuff and poetry and stuff, and then Anton,
I read stupid books.
That summed it up better than we could have.
The one thing the Lombolo members have in common, they read a lot.
But I think like Vandringsmannen and like the earlier stuff was really was a conscious effort to do folk metal and to like, because if you've never written a folk metal song or written folk music, it's really hard. You have to figure out how to do it, and we've written a lot of folk metal songs, and now we can like, okay, we know this, we can do this. Now we can kind of put some other stuff in it, branch out, and I think we're not running out of ideas anytime soon. It's just going to morph into something like
I guess right now it's like 100% folk metal, and we kind of want to make it 60-40, or like it's not a defined number,
don't get
but it's more of a, we want to bring in some influences so that it doesn't just feel like, oh, why don't I just listen to Korpiklani instead, or like Elevidi.
Well, I think a lot of it is also just not just to be different from other folk metal bands. It's just like doing our take on folk metal, just what comes naturally to us when we play the genre.
I personally don't care if we have 100 or 100,000 listeners. But I do care if we have fun, and it's very fun to have a cowboy photo shoot for our cowboy song that we wrote that morphed out of our very serious
song about imperialism.
Yes.
And I just love making those plans of like trying to fit throat singing into songs, or just like, hey, have you tried? Can we try this rhythm? But it doesn't work with the vocals. I didn't think of that.
Alright, so the follow-up, we talked about Irminsul quite a bit. The Britannia. What was? I know it was an older song, but what influenced the decision to translate it to English?
See if we could a little bit. See if the Lombolo concept will work in English as well.
Yeah.
Because folk metal is very much one of those genres that feel ethnocentric to a certain extent.
You have an American that doesn't speak a lick of Swedish listening to then it's 99% of the.
I am so impressed that there's at least 2 Americans, 3 Americans listening.
We're trying to get more. That's why we play the tunes.
But to me also just seemed like it's also a part of branching out. It's not Lombolo selling out. It's hey, like we also want to write English lyrics. Because personally I'm better at English than I am at Swedish, especially when it comes to writing. So we just want to see what we can do and how much we can push to still make it fun and interesting. And we said, okay, well, if we're going to try this, let's try a concept that's already tried and true. Britannia's a good song. And then, change the lyrics.
But it was also because doing like Vandringsmannen, I wasn't as good at mixing back then as I am now, and like Britannia was one of my favorite songs on that album, and I felt it had the worst mix. I was really disappointed in it, and I always felt like we need to do a remix, and then we're like, if we want to do a remix, we might as well translate it also, because it fit together a lot of different reasons.
And I mean, a remix to a lot of people, like we nerd our own songs because we have to listen to them over and over again. But to other people, why did you release? But they're not going to hear that the snare sounds slightly better in this one. So it's also about giving why is there a reason to release this other than just the mix? So it feels better if can actually understand the lyrics.
And also, since it's about Britain, it fits that it's in English.
We couldn't put a lot of British accent into it, unfortunately.
I still can't do a British accent.
When I got information for the cover for that one, actually, you told me that it's mostly about Wales. So there is an early sketch of the cover where the colors of the map that I had are in the colors of the Welsh flag. But I scrapped it because it just looked like it was Italian.
Because of dragon. Lack of a dragon. It just turned into Tumblr deep photo instead.
It monocolored for it really worked.
Alright, so we'll play Britannia now.
We can do it now.
Alright, two more questions about we talked in depth about Ofärd. Ofärd.
You're getting there.
I'm slowly getting it.
You're gonna get it.
Ofärd, So we talked in depth about the song and everything, I believe, but we mentioned the video shoots, but who came up with the concept to do a D&D style video?
I think that was
that was me.
I think we had the concept in the band from pretty much the beginning, and we always talked about it, but we couldn't find a song that fit because all of them were we can't do Wonder with a Western song. It just doesn't work. Like in Batting a Guard, those are very specific subjects. This was a book, but it wasn't as specific as the other songs were.
And also, I think it was someone we talked about making a song about D&D, inspired by it. But I got a comment from someone saying you should make a D&D style video or something because it fits your aesthetic and the music. And I was like, of course. Why didn't we think of that? And we had that idea for first we thought about doing it for Beards and Broadswords, but we
because everyone was in different places and everyone had a lot to do. We didn't want to half-ass it.
So the idea had been around that's for 1 year, and then it's became time to do it like this this fall, and we just threw around a bunch of ideas. I wrote down some.
And then everything changed.
I mean, it was kind of true to the script.
Well, the main parts, but the fight scenes all changed.
There was no in the script. There was like insert fight scene here, and a few ideas of.
I thought there was more for one of them because everyone, when I was changing a lot of it, they were like, "We do have a script." I was, "Oh, really?" During that fight scene, because I also thought it was just fight here.
Yeah. So,
but that was so much. I love making that.
The one part of that video where the bridge, that the guy guarding the bridge, is that Monty Python influence in
a little bit. Yeah.
But I mean, Monty Python most definitely got it from
us.
Or Journey to the West, perhaps.
Yeah.
But it was so. I loved it. It just turned in because we planned it to be kind of. Oh well, everyone's gonna have shit costumes and no one's gonna actually care anyway.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna have to try to make this look bad on purpose so it doesn't become as cringy to watch.
Yeah.
And then everyone just got there and it turned out great. Everyone had costumes.
They were all great.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I was gonna be painted as an orc, and Leo thought, my girlfriend's just gonna paint a bunch of green on my face, but she's this makeup artist.
Yeah.
So it actually turned out really well.
Yeah.
And everyone just looked the part, and it's the only video that turned out. Oh, this is where we're aiming. This is where we got. Unlike the other.
For
videos,
reference, he put his hand low for where he's aiming.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, it turned out so much better than we thought.
Expected it would.
Yeah, so
very much so.
Yeah, and it was also really fun because it was kind of hard to figure out how to do a D&D video because it isn't fun to look at for 6 minutes some guys around the table rolling dice.
Speak for yourself.
And then but what if we play out what their characters do like a fantasy movie, and that idea came really late into the process, and we were thinking about who is going to be the players and the stuff, and who's going to be the DM, and then when we got
the character shifted around a lot.
Yeah.
Because we had one friend who were going to play the DM. I turned into the DM because we didn't have someone at the day of the shoot.
Yeah.
And then my girlfriend became the witch, who was also going to be a warlock, who was going to be played by the DM originally.
But the DM, but that role also briefly landed on me to be the warlock.
Yeah, for 5 minutes.
Yeah, for 5 minutes. I said, I don't think I can do this.
We thought it would be confusing if he was the main villain and the quest giver.
Yeah.
Although,
but
some storyline going on.
when listening to the song and brainstorming, when Johan growls in the breakdown part of it, or after the second chorus, I got this vision of Johan as an orc. And I realized, in this part they're going to fight against the orc, and Johan is going to play it. And then I realized, but what if all of us in the band are the antagonists, and we get our friends to play the protagonists?
And it was originally going to be an actual music video with us playing.
Yeah.
We just got so much footage. Leo was like, "Okay, do we really need to record this?" I was like, "No."
Yeah, we had almost too much footage for it.
Oh no, it was hell trying to there was. I said it on the day of the final shoot as well. I was like, I feel bad for the guy having to edit this so much gold.
Yeah, and it was yourself.
Yeah, it was me.
So after the CP's out, I know you mentioned earlier you're writing new material. So what's next for Lombolo? Are we gonna see you guys doing
more
tours eventually, or?
Well, we need a drummer for that, and right now we're kind of satisfied making music, just making it. But the problem is also right now you're studying.
Yeah.
You're studying
in another city.
And I'm working full time.
Yeah,
so I just feel like once we can figure out that once we get over those hurdles, or while we find we we have something more defined. And then we can actually start playing live. Live is fun and all, but the main thing is actually making the music.
But like, it's playing live is a long-term goal, definitely. Even though
I want to perform. I did mention earlier here that a lot of my previous performances have been theatrical, and I like being on stage and like being around there. So I want to get back up at some point.
I'm picturing a show with a few costume changes at least.
Oh Jesus!
To be honest, here we go. Let's do it. Let's play the entire Ofärd music video with the actual cast. Special anniversary show.
It's a rock opera.
But like long-term goal, playing a few shows, and I think. Next for us is an album.
We're already
there's
some demos made. Some lyrics that have been fully written or like drafts, and we're also having a more defined like idea of how we're going to work on this one. The other one was just let's make a bunch of fun songs. Because like Leo said earlier, folk metal, we need to figure out how it's done. Now it's more like we want defining aspects of every song, just like on the EP, where you can be like, that's this song, the Western song, Irmin Sol, the cool black metal ballad. And I feel like we can really get into our own. Leo said before, also right when we released the first album, I think we've made our like Kill 'Em All, but we haven't made our Ride the Lightning yet.
We still have a Master of Puppets left.
After that.
I still hear that Fleming's available. He's just in the next country over. Fleming Rasmussen.
Sorry?
The producer, Fleming Rasmussen.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Yeah.
We just need to find. It's weird how difficult it is to find drummers that actually like folk metal in Sweden. There's so much black and death drummers here, but not a lot that.
And then to find one who's also into photography.
Did you put that in the ad? Like, must be a photographer.
You also have to be less attractive than me. That's the hardest one.
You need to sing.
We need another vocalist. 3 isn't enough.
Awesome. All right, well, we'll play one more song from you guys. Thank you guys for the interview.
Thank you.
Awesome.
It was thank you.
A lot of fun.
Let's see if I got this. Ofärd.
There, nailed it.
By the end of the interview, I finally got it. Ofärd is out on Spotify and Spotify gives them basically a few, maybe 1 crown per every 1,000 listens. Or you go to Bandcamp and buy it, which I did, do that thing,
I'm making gestures.
Yes.
Check out our merch store.
And we look forward to definitely playing a bunch of your new material in the coming year, whenever it's written and performed and done. So thank you guys.
Thank you.